Hi, I'm Susie Garden, and this is the Ageless and Awesome podcast. I'm an age-defying naturopath and clinical nutritionist, and I'm here to bust myths around women's health and aging so that you can be ageless and awesome in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The Ageless and Awesome podcast is dedicated to helping women through perimenopause and menopause with great health, a positive mindset, and outrageous confidence. Hit subscribe or follow now, and let's get started. Hello, gorgeous one, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ageless and Awesome podcast. And today I'm actually coming to you from the hinterland in Byron Bay, where I've taken myself away for just a few days just to have a little business retreat. I like to do this, well, I'd love to do it more often, but probably once, maybe twice a year. I like to just change my environment. Working for myself, being in my office all of the time gets a little bit stale. So I like to just take myself away, and I do totally appreciate the privilege that I have in order to do that, in that I have a really supportive partner that looks after things at home when I do this. And I'm in a very cute, very small little Airbnb, and it's on a bit of property, and I'm so glad I did this. So good. But yeah, so I do apologize for the quality because I'm just using kind of my little earbuds to record this today. But I really wanted to chat to you because one of the things I've been doing while I've been here is looking at goals. And I'm reading a book at the moment that one of my coaches has recommended to me called 10x is Easier Than 2x. And it is by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And it is talking about business goals. But as I'm reading this, I'm going, this absolutely applies to my clients and to people that have health and wellness goals. So I wanted to read a little bit from the book today and just talk a little bit about it, because I wondered, I talk a lot about mindset, and I've said on many occasions that mindset is probably 80% of what I do and of what you need, I guess, to change your eating habits, change your movement habits, change your lifestyle. I mean, it's a lot, right? Even if you really want to, there's a lot to change, a lot to do for many people. But yeah, I wanted to kind of outline some of these concepts because I'm just having my mind blown by this, and I really thought you might enjoy it. And particularly for those of you, I know a lot of people who listen to this are also in business. So some of this you may wish to take on board and have a think about for your own, even your business goals or life goals or whatever. But I guess one of the concepts, so I'll just explain 2x versus 10x. It means 2 times versus 10 times, right? And the concept is that only once you make your goal impossible, so if someone was to say to me, I want you to 10 times the number of clients you're taking on within 3 months, I might say, well, that's just impossible. But could I double it? Maybe I could, I'm not sure. But only once you make your goal impossible will you stop operating based on your current assumptions and knowledge. You'll be open to new ideas, and you'll entertain different paths that you've never considered. And when I think about that with the women that come and work with me or I chat to on the pre-screening calls, it's absolutely that. When you consider, well, I want to let's use the weight loss because that's a big part of what I do. Let's use weight loss as an example. If you had, say, 15 kilos to lose, and someone said to you, or you set yourself a goal, I'm going to lose 5 kilos in 12 weeks. And you might say, yep, that's possible. I can do that. But what if the goal was 15 kilos in 12 weeks? You'd probably think, based on your past experience, oh no, I couldn't do that. That's impossible. That's just too much. I can't even fathom how that would happen and what I would need to do to make that happen. And when you create a goal that is impossible seeming, it forces you to think differently. It's exciting. How does it feel in your body? Like if I feel in my body about I don't know, increasing my client base, say, for example, exponentially, that it scares me a little bit, and it excites me. And I know when I'm talking to women with regard to their health and weight loss goals, a lot of the time women choose goals that they aren't really what they want, but it's what they think they can achieve. And often we work on kind of configuring that goal, because people just do not believe they can lose the amount of weight that they can actually lose if they want to. So I hope I'm making sense here. So the encouragement is to make your goal so big that you believe it's impossible, because what that does, it really narrows down the pathways to get there. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the pathways often that women have taken before they talk to me is that they've done keto, for example. They've done paleo, they've done a gym challenge, they've done calorie restriction, they've done meal delivery, all sorts of things like that they're doing kind of on their own, maybe with a trainer or a friend or something like that. And they might lose a few kilos along the way, and sometimes they can lose significant amounts of weight. But they're talking to me because either they haven't been able to keep it off, or they're just not reaching the goal that they want to reach, for example, particularly people that are having surgery and things like that. And so now that I'm reframing this into a 10x kind of goal, it really narrows down the pathways, the selection of choices that you have to get to that goal. And, you know, when you list conditions, when you think about what are the conditions that need to be present for that impossible goal to become believably possible, it changes how you think about it. So, and the author of this book points out that those conditions and strategies are where you should focus if you want the highest return on your time and on your energy. Everything else you're doing is noise. Seemingly impossible, and I'm reading from the book now, seemingly impossible or massive goals are highly practical because they immediately separate what works from what won't, illuminating the few paths that have the greatest efficacy. Small goals are unable to clarify effective pathways because they're too marginal or linear from your current location. That's why you can choose all of those things I just listed. They're all possible pathways, but which one do you choose? Each of them might work. You know what I mean? But the fundamental reason why 10x goals and visions are simpler, easier, and more practical than 2x is because you narrow down that choice. You narrow down the options. With the 2x goal, there's just too many potential pathways to reach the desired destination, maybe your weight loss goal, and that creates paralysis by analysis and makes it extremely difficult to know where to focus your best energy and effort. And sometimes you just get so overwhelmed with having all of these options and not knowing what is the right one, what is the exact right one for me personally with my medical history and my needs. It makes it very, very difficult. But with a 10x goal, only a limited number of strategies or pathways will work. And I just want to share a little story that they have in the book here, and that really solidified this in my mind. And this is why I just went, oh my gosh, I have to talk about this on the podcast, because this is actually really quite groundbreaking. So the author uses the example of his son, Caleb, who's an avid tennis player, wants to play in college. Recently, his coach asked, why don't you just go for professional? Surprised, Caleb had never thought that was actually a possibility. And driving home from practice, Caleb and his dad, the author, discussed what his coach had said. He said, what if you committed to going for professional? Would that change anything about what you're doing now? Maybe, he replied. Do you think your current trajectory would get you to pro? No, Caleb said. If we went for pro, do you think we could find a path for that? Probably, his son said. And do you think it would be different from a college path? Yeah. The goal determines the process. The only way to make your present bigger is by making your future bigger. And this story just went, oh my God, because I think about myself and my own goals. I do tend to make them a little bit of a stretch, but still possible. I don't think of impossible goals. It's not the way I was trained in corporate. So I've done a lot of training over the years, and even at university level. And that is not the way you're taught to create goals. You're supposed to create a goal that you think you probably can reach, and then a stretch goal, which is a little bit further than that, but not a massive goal. And it's absolutely just changed the way I'm thinking about how I'm going to approach this year. And I think if you're someone that's looking for a health, weight loss, whatever it is in your life journey, have a think about this. Have a think about, what could that impossible goal be? What could I dare to think might be possible? And then 10x that. It has to seem impossible. And then, because that will narrow down the pathways to get there. Because if like, for example, I'm working with a couple of people at the moment who actually have 100 kilos to lose each. And I'm working with people that have 5 or 10 or 25, whatever the number is. And it's really interesting to see the difference in mindset amongst people with these different weight loss goals. And someone with a weight loss goal of 100 kilos, they're going for things like the lap band surgery or the gastric surgery. They're not going necessarily for the keto or the paleo or that. And then they're coming and talking to me. Virtually, I think actually everybody that's had those high-level kilos to lose has had some sort of lap band or the equivalent bariatric surgery. And then they come and see me to get the diet right and get a better result. And so that is something I really want you to think about when you are making decisions about your health goals for 2024, whether it's medical conditions, whether it's perimenopause, and just finally getting on top of those hormonal symptoms, because that takes a long time. It took me quite some time to get on top of my own, because as I've shared with you on other episodes, I've spoken to doctors. Even it really blew away my confidence in them. And I'm not a Dr. Basher at all. I have very much a great deal of respect for the medical profession. And I've been part of that conventional medicine. You remember, if you don't know me that well, I've spent 16 years in the pharmaceutical industry. I have a great belief in that and in the medical system to a degree. But I've chosen the wellness approach where you're preventing. And that's why I love working with weight loss, because when you drop weight, you improve your health dramatically, including symptoms of perimenopause. Now, there's other aspects to that as well, but it is, absolutely something that we can work with diet. But there are so many other medical conditions that will improve when you change your food and you have a personalized nutrition plan that is based on your biochemistry, not just generic. So have a think about the things that you have done. If you have goals this year, what are the things you've done so far to achieve them? And what are the things that perhaps you've been thinking you're going to do this year to achieve them? Are they 10x strategies? Are they 10x goals? Are they things that you would love to achieve, but you really think it's impossible? It's probably not impossible when you pick the right strategy. That is the really important thing. Because when you have a 10x goal, when you really elevate your thoughts about what that goal should be, right? When you really elevate and then you commit to specific kind of standards, that's how you evolve your identity. And that is how you get yourself to that 10x goal. And there's this 4 C's formula that is commitment. So committing to the goal. So you might say, well, I want to lose 20 kilos or 15 kilos, whatever it is. But I don't think I could do that in 12 weeks. I don't think I could do that in 24 weeks, whatever it is, or 16 weeks, whatever your time frame is. Once you commit to that, then you've got to find the courage. It's courageous to commit to that anyway, but the courage to actually find your pathway. to go, okay, well, if I'm going to lose, let's say 20 kilos in 16 weeks, that's definitely possible. You want to lose 20 kilos in 16 weeks. You're not going to do that by doing 1,200 calories a day for that long period of time. That's not going to support your body. That's not going to nourish you. That's probably going to really impact on your gut health and your hormones, particularly if you're perimenopausal. So you're going to have to be really selective about the strategy that you use. So finding a capability. So who do you need around you? Do you need a nutritionist? Do you need a personalized plan? Do you need a PT? Do you need a psychologist? Do you need a hypnotherapist? Who do you need on your team? And yes, that's an investment. But, as they say, you think wellness is expensive? Try sickness. So getting the right team on board gives you that capability, and then that gives you the confidence. And that's your 4 C's: commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. And nothing happens until you commit. The other stuff, it's like a linear pathway that comes after it. When you commit to that specific standard, that goal that's far above your current capability and confidence, it pushes you outside your knowledge and your comfort zone. That's why you need the courage. So I hope that's really been helpful to you to start thinking about your own mindset, about your goals that you may have already set or you may be thinking about setting for 2024, because your mindset around that will absolutely influence all of the steps you take right from the start and choosing the strategy that you're going to take to get to your goal. And if me talking about this has made you think, maybe I should have a call with Susie just to chat more about health, wellness, weight loss, hormones, all the things that you're wanting to kind of get a handle on in 2024. I love talking to people. Just book in a pre-screening call. The link is in the show notes. You're not wasting my time. It's not a scary sales process. I literally do not ask you to commit on the call. Everything happens afterwards to give you some time to think, because I have an exceptional success rate, and it's because of the selection process that I go through. I will not take you on if I don't think you're the right person for this program. So, wow, I feel like so passionate. I'm standing up because I've had to plug my computer in because I don't have my workstation, and I'm throwing my hands in the air. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm throwing my hands in the air. I'm walking around. I feel like I'm on a stage giving a bit of a speech, but I just am so passionate about this book. My God. So it's called 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy, if you're interested in looking at that a little bit further. Not a sponsored shout out. So have an awesome rest of the week and a great weekend. I will be back on Tuesday, and if you've got any questions, feel free to message me at Susie Garden Wellness. Oh, and if you could do me a favor and subscribe to the podcast, or follow whatever app you're using. It's either subscribe or follow. And if you could take a moment just to give me a quick 5-star review, I would so appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Ageless and Awesome podcast. If you liked today's episode, please make sure you click the little plus button if you're on Apple Podcasts, or the follow button if you're on Spotify, so that you can get each new episode delivered to you every single week. If you like free stuff, and who doesn't, then head over to susiegarden.com and grab my 8 essential age-defying secrets every woman over 40 should know right now. Or if you'd like to continue the discussion, head over to Instagram and DM me at Susie Garden Wellness. I'd love to connect with you.